Hello YouTube, welcome to another video from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. This is Rock Rules 178, and in this video I am bringing you the Get There challenges from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1. Also I'm going to be rating these challenges sort of from 1 to 10 in terms of difficulty. So we're going to start off in Warehouse, where it all begins. Now this is not the easiest Get There, but it's definitely one of the easiest. So it just requires 2 gaps in the single combo. So start with this long rail here and a simple ollie across the channel gap to activate the Get There rolling channel. So 1 out of 10 for difficulty. Nothing too complicated going on. So still in Warehouse, we're now going for the hard Get There. We need to wally over the secret room and just hold grind and just grind this long rail here. I'm going to rate this 2 out of 10 purely because the wally over the secret room can be a bit difficult. So over to school. First gap is this one across the gap. And then a quick transition and grind this long rail here. 2 out of 10 rating, fairly straightforward. Shouldn't cause any real problems. So once I've finished messing around here, move on to probably the first of the sort of more difficult Get Theres, the hard Get There in school. So I rate this 4 out of 10. It's quite a reasonable distance to travel. So we'll start with this ollie over the dumpster. Quick transition through here. I'm keeping my manuals nice and short. Now I choose to jump off here. I could have jumped and grinded the other planter, but hey ho, we did it the way we did it. So. And then here, just manual out the grind and a little bit over, and that's the Get There. So over to Mole. This is a simple 1 out of 10. Start yourself off nice and slow, grind this rail, and then just transition onto the coffee grind. And simple as that. Now the hard Get There here is one of the more tricky. The gaps can be quite tricky to actually land and activate, and you also got a fair distance to travel. So that was the first gap. So make your way down here. Second gap is this one, and again it's just trying to maintain balance now and cover the distance. So I'm using wall rides. Obviously no balance bar there, so basically free distance covered. Now I actually messed this up. I was supposed to go the other way, but we managed to improv this and we managed to land it. And the wall ride here makes this final gap much simpler. And there we have it. So an 8 out of 10 for difficulty. So over to Skate Park. I'll probably give this one 3 out of 10. It's not too difficult. Getting the light grind takes a bit of practice. I mean, I do it first time here, but then again I use this to start my combos on this map, so I'm always jumping up here and using this light grind. I get a bit lucky here too, and then we just grind out until the gap pops, and there it is, and we've done it. So all the lights, again fairly straightforward, 3 out of 10. Now the hard Get There, 5 out of 10 for difficulty. We have to start with this gap, over the box, full grab junior, and then a long grind around, and then finally the transfer. There we go. So heading into downtown. So the standard Get There is fairly simple. I rate this 3 out of 10. it should only take a few attempts. The only slightly tricky bit would be the long manual at the end of these grinds. So this manual here, aside from that, I mean, it's nothing too tricky. And then the hard get there. Now I rate this 4 out of 10. It's all about routes. So this route for me seemed the most economical. So 1 spine transfer and the car ollie. So 4 out of 10 for difficulty. Fairly simple. And then we're into downhill jam. So the standard get there. Start here. Just hit this ramp with a bit of speed. And then clear this gap here. Simple. So over to the hard get there. This for me is the much easiest way to do this, by going up one side of the half pipe, turning round and then heading back down. Now turning round can be a little bit tricky, and then getting from here to the next gap can also be a little bit tricky, but it's definitely easier than doing the whole lap and using the teleporter. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. But it's simplified using the route I've just demonstrated. So Burnside, so it's just that transfer there, and then the bridge grind. Nothing too difficult. We're going to go 1 out of 10. And then the hard get there. It's a little plant on this lip. Manual this gap. And now getting up here, it's key to not be going too fast, so you can make this gap and grind all 3 of those red rails to activate. 3 out of 10 for difficulty. It's one of the easier hard get theres. Shouldn't be too challenging. Now over to streets. So this one for me is probably 3 out of 10. You've got a fair distance to cover here with the manual, but other than that, I mean, it's 3 fairly simple gaps to achieve, and that's it. That's it. All it takes. Simple as that. Now the hard get there on streets is, again, it's one of the more difficult on the THPS1 maps. You have to start here, grind this spiral, and now there's a bit of distance to cover here. So I'm trying to just use short grinds, short manuals, and just try and keep it nice and simple. And then grind the fountain to finish. 6 out of 10 for difficulty. Took me a few attempts, but fairly simple aside from that. So in Roswell, the standard get there. I probably do this the wrong way around in truth. I think probably doing this gap from the other direction first and then heading into the pool area is probably a simpler way to do it. But yeah, it's a 2 out of 10. It's not too bad. And the hard get there. So we just have to do the low deck. And then the long manual up here with a little turn at the end. Can be a little bit tricky. Grey grind. And then a rolling channel to finish. So overall, it's probably about a 4 out of 10 for difficulty. And there we have it. So thank you for watching, guys. Really appreciate the support on my channel. Any likes, comments and follows, much appreciated. Yeah, so all that's left to say is keep rocking and keep skating.